Welcome to In History. In the quiet town of Bethlehem, a night of unspeakable horror was about to unfold. An event so shocking that it would echo through history, inspiring art, literature, and countless theological debates. This is the story of the Massacre of the Innocents, a dark chapter in the reign of Herod the Great. The Massacre of the Innocents is recounted in the Gospel of Matthew. According to the Bible, after hearing of the birth of Jesus from the visiting Magi, King Herod, fearing the prophecy of a new king of the Jews, ordered the execution of all male infants under the age of 2 in Bethlehem. This tragic event was Herod's attempt to eliminate any threat to his throne. But was this massacre a historical reality or a symbolic narrative crafted by early Christians? To understand the Massacre of the Innocents, we must first understand the man behind it, Herod the Great. Herod was appointed king of Judea by the Roman Senate in 37 BC, known for his extensive building projects, including the magnificent Second Temple, but his rule was also marked by paranoia, cruelty, and political intrigue. Herod's paranoia grew as he aged. He executed his own wife, Mariam, and 3 of his sons, fearing they were plotting against him. This brutal pattern of behavior makes the Massacre of the Innocents plausible within the context of Herod's reign. The Gospel of Matthew tells us that Herod, upon realizing he had been outwitted by the Magi, flew into a rage and ordered the killing of all male children in Bethlehem under the age of 2. This event is said to have fulfilled a prophecy from the Old Testament, drawing parallels to the story of Moses. Bethlehem was a small town, and the number of children killed may have been between 20 and 30, yet the brutality of the act left a profound impact on early Christian communities and has been depicted in art and literature throughout history. The Massacre of the Innocents holds deep theological significance. It is seen as a fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy and a foreshadowing of Jesus' own suffering and death. The event has been interpreted as a symbol of the innocents lost in a world filled with sin and tyranny. Throughout the centuries, artists have captured the tragedy and horror of the Massacre of the Innocents. These depictions remind us of the ongoing struggle between good and evil and the innocent lives often caught in the crossfire. But did the Massacre of the Innocents actually happen? The event is mentioned only in the Gospel of Matthew and not in other historical records from the time, such as those of the Jewish historian Josephus, who documented Herod's reign in detail. Some scholars argue that the massacre may have been a literary creation, used to draw parallels between Jesus and Moses or to highlight Herod's tyrannical nature. However, others point out that such a small-scale event might not have been deemed significant enough to record in other sources. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Massacre of the Innocents remains a powerful narrative, influencing religious thought and historical interpretation for centuries. The Massacre of the Innocents can be compared to other historical events where rulers resorted to mass murder to secure their power. Whether it's the Roman Emperor Nero's persecution of Christians or the brutal purges of modern dictators, history is rife with examples of leaders using violence to eliminate perceived threats. Herod's actions set a precedent that echoes through history, reminding us of the devastating impact that fear and tyranny can have on innocent lives. Today, the Massacre of the Innocents is remembered in the Christian calendar on December 28th, known as the Feast of the Holy Innocents. It serves as a day of reflection on the suffering of the innocent and the dangers of unchecked power. The story of the massacre has left an indelible mark on religious tradition and has become a symbol of the enduring struggle against oppression. Whether historical fact or powerful allegory, the Massacre of the Innocents continues to resonate with us today. It reminds us of the cost of power, the vulnerability of the innocent, and the enduring hope for a better world. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's most haunting stories. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more explorations into the dark and fascinating corners of history.